Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It is As Told by Ginger, also known as Glam by Ginger, and I have my aunt here,
Dr. Kristy Cromblin, known locally as Dr. C.
Alright, so I brought her on today just to talk about some medical things, also health things as well. There's been a lot of things in the media, so she just wants to clarify it. So we're going to jump right into things. Alright, so what do you feel like is the most talked about thing, even in the black race, I would say, in, well, African American race?
Okay, so one of the biggest things I hear about is hypertension. Of course, there's diabetes and there's obesity, and sometimes obesity can be the key player in both of those. So I won't tag on obesity right now. That can be a whole other topic by itself, looking at dieting. But let's just look at hypertension for a minute. I get a lot of questions about that. One of the questions that I got just last night was, someone was concerned that they were told that they have diabetes, hypertension, there's nothing they can do about it because several people in their family have it. And I just wanted to clarify some things on that. Just because it runs in your family doesn't mean that you're doomed. It doesn't mean that it's your fate. The truth of the matter is, it means that you have more work to do. It means that there is some type of genetic link that makes you a little bit more susceptible. But if you change some of your lifestyle habits, namely food, certain foods, and also stress, that then you will have a better chance at living a normal, healthy life void of hypertension.
Okay,
lifestyle
so
changes.
I heard you say the healthier choices with food. So what would you suggest, since she is vegan, guys? So what would you suggest healthier choices when it comes to meat, even with green vegetables?
Okay, so I'm not here to push my vegan agenda because I know it's not a favorite of everybody's, but I will say, just for the average American diet, of course you always hear about sodium, and I can't avoid talking about sodium. Sodium is the key player in what you know of as salt, sodium chloride. And a lot of people ask me about sea salt. Sea salt is still salt, okay? It's just thought to be healthier because there are some other minerals that are found in it, but it's still salt, so you still should use it with care. But here's one of the things you should consider. There are alternatives to salt, other ways to season the food, because essentially that's really what we're after. We're really just trying to spice up the food and make it have a nice kick. So some people like garlic seasoning, some people like lemon. I'm a big fan of lemon. That's a key ingredient in a lot of my meals. So I just told you a secret there. And another thing is that when you're cooking, especially, I'm a big fan of vegetables. Southern vegetables I love. You name them, some of the most popular ones, and they're one of my favorites. And one of the key things is that you can put just a small amount of salt in your food when you're cooking it, and that will help to tenderize the beans or tenderize the greens, because where there's salt, there's water, which really plays into how hypertension works. But nonetheless, you can put a little bit in there just so that you can help to assist cooking your food. But when you really want to season it, you want to season your individual dish. And that, to me, will do you more of a favor than adding salt to the dish while you're cooking it, and then again adding it a large amount after you've cooked it. And then some people like to use other spices on top of that have a lot of sodium in it. So it's best to just do a very, very small amount, if you're going to do it at all, while you're cooking it, and then you want to season it.
Okay. So do you feel like grass-fed meat is better than the other meat that they sell?
Absolutely. And I'll try not to do a whole lecture on this, but just to keep it simple, the way that things were done prior to like 1995 was prior to genetically modified organisms being like commonplace. One of the things that we did was we allowed the cows and horses and all those animals, we allowed them to just graze naturally, just off of grass. But we learned that, you know what, you can fatten that cow up a whole lot quicker, you can get more money for it because it's going to weigh a lot more if you feed them corn. And now I want you to also pay attention to that, because not only will the corn fatten up the cow, but it can also fatten up the person that's eating it as well, eating the corn or eating the animal that ate the corn. And one of the reasons why corn will fatten up a cow is because corn is loaded with starch, which is just a bunch of sugar all twisted together just to keep it simple. And because it's loaded with starch, it's like the body sees it. If you're not going to consume all of that sugar, it's going to store it as fat. So one of the things you'll notice, especially with ground beef in a cow that has been cow that's been grass-fed, there's far less oil, and you'll see the difference when you're cooking. Well, that oil makes a huge difference in your health too. So you can only imagine. And that oil, any oil from an animal product, has the propensity to stick inside of the blood vessels a lot more. Of course, that causes something called atherosclerosis, which can also later cause heart disease.
Well, I'm learning something new with you guys. I hear a lot of people say that they eat vegetables. Well, no, they eat fruit, but they're still diabetic. And I've heard that, of course we know that there's plenty of sugars in fruit. So it's just as well as eating candy, correct?
That's a very, very good point. Very good question. A lot of people have questions about that. And some people even have questions about, well, why is my sugar up if I'm fasting? And it all kind of ties in together. So just to not miss your first question, your question about fruit. Yes, fruit is loaded with sugars, particularly like watermelon, strawberries, they are. But the sugar that they have is called simple sugar. They're not complex or sugars that are starches. When you think about starches, you think about potatoes. But all that is a bunch of sugars all twisted up on each other. So it's complex sugars, or that's all a starch is. But with fruit, it's simple. They're linear, just simple sugars, but they're still sugars. So when a person has a problem with metabolizing the glucose in their body or sugar in their body, that person will still have a problem even with fruit when it's overdone. So they have to be careful even with fruit until the problem is rectified.
Well, I'm learning something, guys. I am really learning some things. Now I heard you say something about heart disease. So can we touch on the heart a little bit?
Yeah. So both of the conditions that you asked me about, hypertension and diabetes, I think those were very key conditions to start with because both of those are key players to lead into heart disease. Of course, there are some people who develop heart disease independent from those conditions, but let's just look at when those conditions lead to heart disease. I want to show you like this illustration. Imagine going to the gym and you want your muscles to be larger, of course. So the more resistance that you add to the bar, the more weight you put on the bar, the more likely your muscles are going to expand because they're having to work very hard. Well, imagine this. The heart is contracting, and it's been doing it since you were at least 4 weeks inside of your mom's belly. And as it's contracting, it's pumping blood out into this linear structure called a blood vessel. And so it contracts, the blood moves. It contracts, the blood moves. But if the blood vessel is tight or constricted, like what happens in hypertension, it could be because of stress, it could be because of too many animal fats inside of the blood vessel, the heart says, look, I'm not slowing down on my job. I have a job to do. I'm just going to pump a little bit harder to overcome that resistance. And what happens over time is because the heart is a muscle, it pumps even harder to overcome that resistance. It starts to expand and grow just like if you were in the gym. So a lot of people will say, I have an enlarged heart. I just came from the doctor and the doctor says I have an enlarged heart. The good thing about it is if you stop going to the gym to work out, then your muscles will become flabby. So in other words, you'll lose that muscle tone, let me say that. The same thing happens is if you control your high blood pressure, the chances of your heart going back to size, normal size, are very great. So that's a good thing. So it's correctable when it's due to hypertension. So that's one of the reasons why it can cause heart disease. With diabetes, let me touch on that one quickly if I'm not overwhelmed yet. Hopefully not. With diabetes, I want you to think about, let's say you spilled some sugar, let's say you were fixing some juice and some of the juice just kind of sprinkled on the countertop. You didn't even notice. When you go back the next morning, you see, oh, the countertop is sticky. What's happening is the water that was inside of the juice to make the juice, the water evaporated, but the solid molecules like sugar remain. So sugar, I want you to think of it being sticky. There's something that we say in the body, we don't say sticky, we say it glycosylates. And what that is it causes the red blood cells to stick together. And one of the things that it will do is it will actually cause blockage in the very, very small blood vessels, especially in the eye, the blood vessels that supply the nerves, and the blood vessels of your distant structures and tissues like your toes. So everything that I just named, even the kidneys as well, very tiny blood vessels there too. Everything that I just named are things that you hear about as complications with diabetes. You hear about people having retinopathy. That's because of those small blood vessels being clogged up with glucose basically and red blood cells sticking together inside of the eye, causing damage to the eye. Same thing with the kidneys, same thing with the nerves. And you also hear about people having their distant tissues like their toes being amputated. And again, that's owing to long-term damage due to diabetes that's been poorly controlled.
Wow. Okay. Well, do you have any tips for anybody out there that may be dealing with those things on how to maybe eat better, even exercise?
Eating better is always going to be one of my platforms. I'll touch exercise. I'll do that one quick because it's easy. One of the things that we know is that the more you're moving around, especially with your lower extremities, you're actually pushing blood back up to the body. So the more you get up and walk around, you're promoting the flow of blood from your lower body to your upper body, and that's a good thing. We've also learned that moving around helps to break up any small little clots. We all form small little clots, microscopic ones, and it helps to break those up as a normal process throughout the day. So you're just promoting continued health. So moving around is very important. I like the little acronym KIM, keep it moving. Yeah, I do like that a lot. So moving around, exercise is very good for healthy individuals and individuals who are struggling with some health defects. The other thing, of course, is diet, and a lot of people don't want to hear that. I can actually go into more detail on the diet at another time, but let me just give you like a general idea of some diet changes. I'm going to go against the grain a little bit on this part.
Okay.
I'm going to. The ADA, American Diabetes Association, has acknowledged that not only is it glucose, carbohydrates, that play a major role in the development of diabetes, and of course genetics play a role. And there's been a slight little admission to it, but it's not something that they're talking about on a grand scale. We need to be having this conversation a lot more. The other issue is animal fats, and that's a whole other lecture. I don't know if we have time to get into that now, but one of the things that animal fats will do is animal fats will displace the glucose that goes into your body from the food that you're eating, and those animal fats will actually keep that glucose from being taken up by the cells. It's needed by the cells, so it stays in the blood vessels and it drives the sugar up. So animal-based products, we know meat is one of them, and then you have cheese, anything with animal products. A lot of candy has gelatin in it, which is made from crushed bones. So there's a lot of things that you have to look for, and I know it can sound overwhelming when you're first starting, but do yourself a favor, of course, and just kind of start slowly, start where you are, and just gradually advance your diet tips and your diet changes from there. But animal products are a big one, and I tell people who say, I just have to have my steak, I have to have my cheese, give yourself 5 days out of the week.
Chicken for me.
Chicken for you. Chicken for a lot of people. So, and a lot of people I'll tell, this is the best way to diet. This is one of my secrets that I do in consultation. I like to say shrink the stomach. You ever notice that if you haven't eaten for a while, like let's say you go all day, you left your lunch at home or something, you just didn't get a chance to eat at work or whatever the reason is, you'll notice you'll be thinking about that food all day. I wish I'd got my food and brought it with me. You'll be thinking about that food, and then when you get home to the food, you're like, oh, I'm gonna put it away. You can't even finish it. And what's happened is your stomach starts to shrink when there's nothing being introduced into it. So I like to tell people that you can start a diet by shrinking your stomach. And what that does is it helps you to retrain your portion sizes. So I like to say about 3 days of fasting. For some people, fasting is not a good idea because they have diabetes, and you have to be very careful with that. You need to be closely watched when you're fasting, especially if you have comorbidities like diabetes. But for some people, 1 day, even with people with diabetes, certain levels of diabetes, I'll say certain stages of it, 1 day is generally okay, but I would say consult with your physician first. But 1 day of just nothing but water. The next day you can advance it to juice or a smoothie. The next day you can advance it to fruit and salad. And then after that 3rd day, you can gradually bring in some other meals. And we can talk about those things at another time. Maybe I'll comment and we'll go from there with that. But just advancing your diet. And then you can say, okay, in 2 weeks I'm going to have a nice steak. But after about 2 weeks, your diet, your body can start to normalize depending on the degree or severity of the diabetes. I won't say that's a rule for everyone, but some people will definitely see some changes within 2 weeks.
Okay, sounds great. So I think we should all start that. Okay, so the next big topic that we are going to talk about is this coronavirus, guys. We have been seeing it all over social media. We have been seeing people walk around with face masks on, trying to protect themselves. And honestly, there's been a lot of people who are now washing their hands that have never washed their hands before. Like, come on, guys. Like, what are we doing? But she's here to talk to us, so let's see what she has to say.
Okay, so some of the things we are hearing about, of course, is the face mask. It's difficult to get. The mask that we like to use is an N95 mask. It has the ability to filter out things as small as a virus. And viruses are very, very small. They're the smallest, and it's questionable as to whether or not they're living or not. But it's the small, possibly living organism there is. But N95 masks can actually filter them out. We're seeing a shortage in them. I even tried to order one online or order some online, and it was a whole time on those delivered for weeks out. So, and we've even heard on the news where some people were actually stealing them from the hospital. Come on, guys. So one of the things that they're saying is, look, the public health is saying, look, don't go out buying masks. Save that for the people who are at a high risk of being exposed, healthcare professionals. Leave the mask to them. So that's one of the things. So they're trying to kind of reroute our attention to other things like proper hand washing and hand sanitizers. Well, I just went to the store today and the lady said we don't even have hand sanitizer for our workers. We're out of hand sanitizer in the store. And it just brought to my memory of something that I like to use that's very similar to hand sanitizer, and that's just alcohol. When you think about it in the hospital, OSHA requires that the hand sanitizer that's used in the hospital is at least 60% alcohol based. So hey guys, you can make that. They sell 70% alcohol, rubbing alcohol, we're speaking of here. 70%, 91%. So all you have to do is get some alcohol, pour it in a little spray bottle, the travel size, and spray it on your hands. And one of the things I like to do when I'm making it, I make it like for deodorants and things like that. One of the things I like to do is I'll add like tea tree oil, just a few drops of it. I'll add other antiseptic essential oils like frankincense or myrrh. You can add those to the alcohol spray just to have an added antiseptic effect. And those should be sufficient if you can't get your hands on any other hand sanitizer.
Alright. If you guys have any more questions about the coronavirus, please leave your comments in the comment section below. We can definitely have a part 2 where she can come back on and answer some of those questions. Alright, so let's see. We thought about talking about STDs and in the healthcare field. We don't like to call them that anymore. We like to call them STIs now. So if we can touch it briefly and tell you guys a little about that.
You know, I'm going to say this in a few words. Get checked. I am a big one for, look, where are your papers, okay? I call them my papers. and they're my papers. I haven't had to change my papers in a long time, but nevertheless, that's another conversation. Get your papers. Make sure whoever you're dealing with, you're vibing with, they have their papers too, okay? Now, you can't rely on that heavily. Someone could be walking around with some old papers. And I'm actually just kind of saying this just for, you know, just for the sensationalism behind it. But the point I really want to make is getting checked is so important. And making sure that when you get checked, you know, you make sure that you are, if you decide to be sexually active, that you are involved with someone who's very much into taking care of their body overall, and also that they're getting checked as well.
All right.
And that's actually, I want to add something else to that. That's something that couples can do together. There are no guarantees. We know that people have different struggles, and sometimes people just aren't who they present themselves to be, but doing that together is something that you can do. You can call your local health department. Your health department, there are usually programs and things in place where you can actually get checked for little or nothing involved, so get checked.
All right. Do you have anything that you want to tell them about?
As far as STIs?
No, or like another subject that you have?
I actually don't. I tried to go through some of the questions that I'm asked about a lot, you know, and there aren't any pressing ones besides those that we've spoken about. If you guys have any questions, we'll be watching those comments over the next couple of weeks. So just, you know, hit us up in the comment section.
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you guys for liking this video and subscribing to my channel. Also, leave those comments like we said below, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.